Hey everyone, welcome to the Mitch and Sass Show. Sass, you're still in Jersey, right?
Still in Jersey, but we'll see where I am on Sunday. I could be switching locations here shortly.
So Sass is not in the building, but we do have a special guest today. We have the current reigning champion of our fantasy league, Tanner, in the building.
Hello.
Well said, Tanner. Well said. You bring a lot to the table so far.
Welcome to the show, Tanner.
All right.
That's all I got.
Well, let's dive right into this. And he's busy looking at his phone already. It's Thursday night. We're recording this episode a little earlier than we normally do. So pardon with us if we miss some stuff. But it's a busy weekend, Sass. We're gonna have to do it earlier. So
Let's just jump right into it.
yep. So let's revisit last week's matchup between you and I quickly. I'm sure you want to
Yes,
get
I
this
lost,
over.
so let's move on to the next matchup.
I
Let's
want
go
to no.
Tanner and Bloom.
Let's talk about it for a second. This is my first win. It's a big win, and I did it in great fashion. I got 152 points. Your team still did pretty good, 127. But I had the Stafford Marvin Jones combo, just freaking killed it. And I'm gonna bring his name up, Sass, because I know you like hearing it. Demaryius Thomas got a touchdown, so there, just throw that at you.
It's actually you who likes Demaryius Thomas's name because I think you brought him up the very first week like 10 times.
Yeah, I know. That's why I keep bringing it up now, because I know you hate when I say his name. But I'm going to keep doing it because he's on my team. But you had Aaron Rodgers. He did well for you. He had like 30 points in the first half and then did nothing for you the rest of the game. And it was the opposite for me, for Matt Stafford. So that was a fun game to watch for me. And T.Y. Hilton did well for you too. I just blew up, Sass. I had a feeling my team was going to do it sooner or later. And unfortunately for you, it was last week.
Yeah, let's just go to Tanner and Bloom's matchup. The only notes I got there was basically Bloom had 17 points out of a kicker, Justin Tucker, and a good game out of Jimmy Graham at 20.5 points. I don't really have much to say about Tanner's team other than his tight end there, Julius Thomas, kind of laid a goose egg, and I think Tanner's season's going to ride on that Bortles to Thomas combo.
Yeah, I mean, Bloom had Kansas City's defense, too.
My season's going to ride on Bortles to Thomas. Bortles will not be my quarterback come week 5. I have Tom Brady. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's on my bench.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I think he's going to be a decent fantasy player this year. Bloom had Kansas City's defense. I mean, they had 35 points. A defense getting 35 points is kind of a big deal. But
anytime you get a kicker defense combo of 52 points, I think that gives you a pretty good head start.
Yeah, and then Bloom took it 152 to 121, and Tanner's team did good, but just like no one really did anything like that. So he's gonna have weeks where he wins those, and last week was not one of those weeks.
Yeah, he just killed me on the kicker and defense battle, which is pretty lame. But I mean, that's kind of what it came down. I mean, our position players were relatively even. I mean, his tight end and flex did really well, but his running backs did really bad. So I don't know, it kind of evened out on the position players a tad bit. I think he beat me by a little bit, but the kicker and defense smoked me.
Yep, that'll happen. That's why we need to get rid of kickers, Sass.
No, kickers have feelings too.
So the next matchup was Devin versus Charlie. Devin took this one 115 to 101.
Devin versus Clute.
Oh, did I have it write it down wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Clute.
Yeah.
But the main point here is Devin changed his team name and still lost, so Devin sucks.
There you
go. Gurley had a better game, though.
Yes, that was the note I put in for Devin. I've been giving him shit about taking Gurley second overall, and he finally did what he was supposed to do. So hopefully, for his sake, he keeps doing that. And DeMarco Murray went off again, 27 points. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
But Clute still had 0 points out of Tyler Lockett and only 2.3 points out of Julio Jones and still beat Devin by 10 points.
Yeah.
14 points.
And Roethlisberger only had 11 points. It's a pretty bad game for him. So, yeah, Clute's going to have some bigger weeks down the road for sure. And then, so the next one this is Charlie's matchup against Pike. Charlie took it 108 to 101. Charlie had some big games out of Matt Ryan, Antonio Brown, and Mark Ingram.
I mean,
nothing
special. I got a Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, That's not. I mean, we were giving him shit last week about not having him in the starting lineup, and then he changed it. And maybe he shouldn't have listened to us, but. And then Pike
well, if you read the text message Charlie sent us, he said he doesn't. What we say on here doesn't reflect what he does with his lineup. So
sure it doesn't. And then Pike's team, he got a good game at Charles Sims. You called it, Sass. You were saying you like Charles Sims in that matchup, and he got 22 points out of him. So good call by you and by Pike, even though Pike still got the loss. And then the last matchup, Joe versus Will. And Joe dominated Will 173 to 136. Joe's team did ridiculous. He had 5 guys that had over 20 points, 4 guys over 25 points. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, and I just like to note here that Matt Forte and Justin Forsett both had under 8 points. Their ages are well above the point total that they got Will.
Well said. Yeah.
Older than 8.
They're not getting any younger either. Yeah, older than 8. I'm pretty certain of that. Will got 24 points out of Fleener. I mean, that's, I guess, noteworthy. And then Jordy Nelson is doing well, and Mike Evans doing well. I mean, I think Will only got 8 points from Carson Palmer, so talk about having Roethlisberger doing bad. Palmer had an awful game.
I can't imagine if somebody dropped Fleener that week and then Will picked him up and then did somebody drop Fleener?
Yeah, Will just likes my garbage.
Oh, so that's you that dropped Fleener. That's right. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe he just didn't like playing for your squad. He's liking that old ass team. He's looking like a young buck on that team.
Kind of like Jamal Charles. You should trade him to me. Start playing.
There you go. Yeah, you in any trade talks? You threw out there last week, Sass, that you had all your wide receivers in the market. You feel?
Yeah, no one reached out to me. I don't know what to say there.
Surprising. Well, does it
so
still
basically, a recap of last week here. We had 2-0 teams. We both go to 2-1. Me and Will. We had 2 0-2 teams. Pike remains at 0-3, and Mitch is off the schneid and now at 1-2.
And looking to roll. Here I come. So that was it for last week. I want to move to some transactions that transpired this week. I think this is going to start obviously playing a much bigger role. This is the first week of bye weeks taking into effect. So as those bye weeks start coming in and the season gets longer with more injuries, these transactions are going to be huge. We'll start with mine. I picked up Jordan Howard. I paid $26 for him, which is pretty steep, but I hadn't spent any money yet, and I just felt like I had to pony up at this point and get someone. What were your thoughts when you saw that, Sass?
You outbid Clute, who bid 18, and outbid Tanner, who had 15. I think Howard here has a lot of potential. Everything I've read about him is everyone's talking him up like he's going to be the next Chicago running back and that Langford wasn't going to last. I don't know. I kind of liked Langford. I don't know what kind of staying power Howard has. I think he's from South Florida, USF or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of him.
Yeah, I have no idea. The only thing I knew about him was he's a 5th-round pick. He's a rookie. I mean, one of the reasons why I spent so much money on him is I had Jeremy Langford. And Langford, really he was getting points, but fantasy-wise he was doing okay. But really, in reality, he was starting to lose some of that time to Howard. And, and then Langford got hurt. So, I just traded a running back, so I had to get him. So I'm glad that other people were bidding that high. I didn't know that. And I started at 15, and as the week kind of went, I kept upping it. I went to 15 to 18 to 20, and I think up to 26 just because I felt like I needed them. But then Joe bought Minnesota's defense for $12.
Yeah.
It's an interesting move. $12 seems like a lot for a defense, but I think right now, if you're going to spend money on a defense, like any waiver money on a defense, why not Minnesota?
Yeah, it's a defense. It's free agent money. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, I feel like. I feel like Minnesota's defense is going to fall back to reality a little bit. I think they had 3 great weeks. I don't think they're going to keep this up the entire season.
I mean,
I still think it's a good move.
They've played some good people too. I mean, they destroyed Cam last week, and I think I'm more of I like him. I still think maybe $12 is a lot, but you know what? Defense means a lot. I mean, Tanner just said he lost his week because of kicker to defense. So, hey, like I said, if you're gonna spend money on a defense, why not Minnesota right now? And then Devin bought Jamison Crowder for $11. I mean, it is what it is. I think Deshaun Jackson got nicked up last week, so maybe if he doesn't play, Jamison Crowder gets some more looks. He's a PPR guy, so $11 isn't too bad there. And then
he's a Washington Redskin wide receiver. He's trash.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them there too, so they do like throwing Crowder the ball. He's a good slot PPR guy, so he's flex worthy, I think, in our league. And then Clute bought Terrell Pryor for $2, which I think is a steal.
Yeah, that's the game. I mean, that's definitely the best bargain bid there.
Sure. For $2. I mean, I'm surprised no one else bid more than that. I don't think he's going to be taking snaps at quarterback, all season, but he proved himself as a wide receiver too. And with Josh Gordon checking himself into rehab, evidently. You don't have to worry about him coming back now, so it looks like even more so now, Terrell Pryor is probably going to be one of their bigger offensive threats. And then my last note for transactions was Devin picked up Kyle Rudolph this week and dropped Philip Dorsett and Jacob Tamme, who he both picked up last week. I'm surprised he dropped Dorsett. I'm not surprised necessarily about Tamme because Kyle Rudolph is playing well, but Dorsett's going to be there for a while with Moncrief going down, so we'll see if someone else scoops him up. But he didn't spend any money on Kyle Rudolph, which I think is a pretty good pickup for him. So,
Wow. AJ Green just made a ridiculous catch over there.
Wow.
Great fantasy points for Bloom right there.
And there you have it. So that's it for transactions. Let's move on to week 4. And the first matchup that we're going to talk about is Tanner and I's matchup. I'm projected to get 138 points. Tanner's projected to get 124. And the time is now, Sass. Le'Veon Bell's coming back.
And currently the live projection has Mitch at 136 and Tanner at 116 with this ongoing Dolphins-Bengals game. So Tanner's already losing points.
Every 2 minutes on this podcast, Josh is going to update our live projections from now on.
They're just going to keep going to Landry. We'll be good.
So, like I was saying, this is the first week of Le'Veon Bell for me. This is what I've been waiting for. And I think he's going to have a huge bust-out game. What do you think, Josh? Should I be a little worried about D'Angelo Williams? Or do you think this is Le'Veon Bell's team to run with now?
I think Bell is going to be the workhorse again. I don't think you have to worry about D'Angelo at all.
They have to
as
give
far as the
D'Angelo
matchup,
the ball, though, don't they?
What's that?
They have to give D'Angelo Williams the ball, though, don't they? I mean, he's been playing really well outside. I mean, last week he was a little slow, but the first 2 games he was doing well. I don't know.
D'Angelo's still going to get some carries. They're going to run both of them out in the backfield at the same time. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to reduce Bell's workload. I think you're just going to see them both on the field more often.
Yeah, and they actually came out with a report today saying that Le'Veon Bell may even line up in the slot on occasion. I don't know how true that is or how often that might happen, but it seems to me that they're going to try to use him as much as they can, which is good for me. But also, if that's the case, maybe they use him and D'Angelo Williams as the running back as well. So I'm looking forward to having Le'Veon Bell out there. I'm hoping Gronk doesn't put up a goose egg this week. And I have Jordan Howard playing currently right now as my flex, and I'm probably going to keep him there. So that's an interesting one. Tanner, you are starting Dwayne Washington, someone you picked up last week, Detroit's running back. And you're starting with your number 2 running back. So that's an interesting matchup between 2 guys we have never heard of until a week ago, really.
An interesting side note is I proposed a bet to Mitch for that game because Dwayne Washington's playing against Jordan Howard, Detroit versus Chicago. $10 on Dwayne Washington having a better game than Jordan Howard. It's yet to be decided whether he's accepting the bet. But
yeah, I think
that's interesting.
I say fuck it. Let's do it.
Wow. All right, we got a deal.
$10. Jordan Howard versus Dwayne Washington straight up.
Yep.
Barring no injuries. I'm gonna throw that in
prior
there.
to, yeah.
Well, even during.
Hey, if somebody gets injured, somebody gets injured.
Oh, I don't like how I feel about that. Fine, fuck it. As long as they both start.
Yeah.
$10 on the line. All right. Jordan Howard versus Dwayne Washington.
Sass, who do you think's gonna have a better game with the matchups?
I would go with Howard.
Wow.
I think I'd have to go with Howard here. And just for an update, Bloom, AJ Green touchdown.
Wow.
Oh.
Bloom off to a hot start. You'd like to see that. So the other things I had for note for our matchup, Tanner, just quickly, I have Jordan Matthews on bye this week, so I can't start him. You have Eddie Lacy on bye. So a couple people on bye, nothing crazy, but it is that start of the year, so hopefully we can get him out of the way quick and it won't hurt us. Sass, are you taking in this matchup between me and Tanner?
I got you. I got Mitch.
Wow.
I see the Stafford Jones combo against the Detroit defense. I got Le'Veon Bell, Gronk back. I got Mitch here.
Yeah, my team's looking real strong, isn't it, Sass? You're nervous.
Stafford Jones versus Chicago defense, not against their own defense.
Chicago defense sucks. Both those defenses suck. I think both those, Dwayne Washington and Jordan Howard, have potential to have big games. So it's going to be, actually, I think, a fun bet.
I think Odell Beckham has his first big game of the season.
Wow.
And makes Sass eat his words.
Wow. I don't hate that call up. So the next matchup, we'll go to your matchup, Sass, against Devin. It's a tight one here. It's actually projected currently tied, 117-117. You're at 0.97 versus 0.36. So, that
yeah,
pretty
I'm not
tight.
liking my team this week. With Rodgers on bye. But Devin still changed his team name last week. I think it still sucks pretty bad, and I still anticipate beating Devin by 20 points.
That makes all the sense in the world. Other things I had, you have Rodgers on bye. Starting Derek Carr, it's a good person to have as your backup. Ryan Matthews is on bye for you, but I don't know if you're starting him. But you also still don't have Arian Foster, Jamal Charles, and I'm not sure about Willie Snead if he's playing. But it's a lot of guys out for you, so it's going to be tough for you to overcome that. And then for Devin, he has Randall Cobb on bye, but he is starting Jamison Crowder as the guy he just picked up. We just talked about. He's starting him as his number 2 wide receiver this week. So we'll see how that works out. I think it's against Cleveland, so he's got a great matchup. I think there's opportunity there for him to put up more than his projected points of 9. But yeah, that was pretty much for that. I hate to break it to you, Sass, but I took Devin in this matchup.
I think that's a load of horseshit, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, that's your opinion, and I've got mine, so that's that. The next matchup was Bloom versus Karras, and this is another tight one. Karras is projected to get 132 points. Bloom was projected to get 131. Obviously, this is before tonight's game started. So he's actually projected to get exactly the same as Joe, 131. They're both projected to get the same. So another close matchup there.
Yeah,
Sass.
we'll have to see what Bloom does here with Des Bryant, because obviously he's a little dinged up right now and not going to play. You assume he's going to put Jackson in there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Jackson got hurt too. Last time I checked, I think they said he was still going to play, but not good for him. He's losing. If he loses Dez and Deshaun Jackson, it's really that's really going to hurt him. And then Joe has the fortune of not having anyone on bye, so he's got the whole team that he played last week in there again, looking to score 170 points again. So I had...
Yeah, he's got Breeze in a favorable matchup against the Chargers. His 2 running backs, I think, have some bad matchups.
Yeah, they do. I think David Johnson's matchup's not too bad. He's been all right, and they're at home against the Rams. I know the Rams have been playing okay, but not great matchups, but not terrible. I'm going to take Karras in this matchup.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Karras here again. Just because. I got no really good reason.
Hey, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close game for sure. But, yeah, going to roll with Joe. Never thought I'd say that. Next matchup is Clute versus Pike. Clute is projected to get 141 points. And Pike is projected to get 133. That's a ton of points for Clute projections. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, he's projected for a little too much. They have Roethlisberger projected at way too high, playing Kansas City. They also have Julio Jones projected at 23 points, which I think is very crazy.
Yeah, I had that too against Carolina after Carolina struggled last week. And Julio Jones is still kind of nicked up, so that's pretty high for him. But he's also starting Terrell Pryor, his pickup at the flex. He's projected to get 13 points. I think that's still kind of a wild card there. You don't really know what's going to happen with him, but it's an interesting play for him. And then Pike has Alshon Jeffrey going, which I thought he had a pretty high projection as well. He's projected to get 17 points. Maybe because he's playing against Detroit, but I don't know. He's hurt, and Chicago doesn't look that great, so I don't know. I thought that was a little high. And the other note I have for Pike is he's still starting Martellus Bennett as a starting tight end, even though Gronk is pretty much back. It seems like he's going to have...
It may be okay for him with Bennett rolling there. I think Bennett could benefit for having Gronk take away some of the coverage from Bennett. I think it's still an okay play.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the last week where he can actually start him, as long as Gronk comes out of here unscathed. I think next week Brady comes back, and I mean, maybe, you never know. Maybe Bennett and Gronk are both startable, and we will have to see how this offense works out. But it'll be something to watch. The other thing to note was he has Phillip Rivers starting, but Russell Wilson's on his bench. He's hurt. He's not starting Emmanuel Sanders, who had a huge game last week. So, he's got some options, and he's still not starting Latavius Murray, even though he just traded me Gronk for him. So, hey, whatever. I am going to actually, after looking at the matchups, I'm going with Pike. I think he's going to get his first win this week.
Nah, I think Pike's going to stay 0-4 here. I'm going Clute.
Yeah, Clute's got some tough matchups. It's another close, high-scoring game. But, like I said, I'm going Pike. What do you think, Tanner? Who's going to take this one?
I'm going Clute. Yeah, I just don't... I mean, the Bennett pick, it depends on who plays quarterback, if it's Garoppolo or Jacoby. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't see his running backs doing that great this week against Denver and San Francisco. Yeah, I'm going Clute.
All right, 2 for Clute, 1 for Pike. Next matchup, and the last one, is Charlie versus Will. And Charlie, again, is projected to get a pretty high score, 138 currently, and Will not so high at 112.
Yeah, I think as his age is increasing day by day in his team, I think his projection point total is going down point by point.
I mean, that is the trend, right? As the season goes on and his team is getting older, his points should be going lower. And
it'll happen. It'll happen to you.
The other reason why his point total may be going lower because he's starting Justin Forsett this week. And Tyrell Williams for San Diego, which actually isn't a bad flex option there. But Justin Forsett is his second running back. That doesn't help him. Another thing that doesn't help Will is Jordy Nelson's on bye. And Jonathan Stewart is still out. So, yeah, he's got some issues not starting Asiata this week. I think you called that right, Josh, saying that McKinnon was the guy to pick up, not Asiata.
Yep.
And for Charlie, he's got Benjamin in there. Eric Decker, I guess, got hurt last week or a couple weeks ago. And, I like Decker this year, but sounds like he might have an injury that might keep him out for some time. So we'll have to keep a lookout on that. But Charlie, other than that, he's also got Josh Gordon. Well, currently has Josh Gordon. I imagine he'll be dropping him soon with him going to rehab. It doesn't sound like he's playing football anytime soon. And he still has D'Angelo Williams, but now with Le'Veon Bell back, Diaz Williams only projected to get 5 points, so he is not their flex anymore. He now has Isaiah Crowell, who actually has been playing decent. But yeah, I had Charlie in this matchup against Will. I think Charlie bounces back. Take him down.
I'm going to stick with my reverse psychology pick that worked for me last week, and I'm going to choose Will to win again this week, and I can see Will going possibly 2-2 here.
All right. Well, Will's 2-1. Oh, so you're saying that you could see him losing, even though you're going to take
the light bulb just went on, Mitch. I see.
You just made that way more complicated than it needed to be. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week's preview. And Josh, you got some betting advice for us for this week?
I always got advice. Because now I think I'm rolling at about 19 Tobies after last week's wins.
19 Tobies, folks. 19. That is impressive this early in the year.
Off to a good 3-0 start for my triple Toby lock of the week. Couple of random games here that I have my eye on. Jags +3 in London against the Colts. I think Jags will cover the spread here. This is their home away from home. Nothing really too analytical here, but I think Jags +3 is good money.
You want to take a game in London? That's surprising. I feel like that's such a toss-up. Why even risk it?
Because the Jags have been in London, I believe, the last 3 years, and they're used to this, so they know what they're doing, and they're getting 3 points on top of this.
Okay.
So when you wake up Sunday morning, probably still hungover, at 9:30 a.m., there'll be a game to bet on. So don't worry, don't miss any action.
Wow, Josh has you covered. Interesting. What else you got?
My stink line of the week, which just it looks odd to me, is the Bears +3 at home against the Lions. I think the public's going to be on the Lions here because the Bears are on their backup quarterback and just look like garbage completely. And it makes no sense for the Bears to only be +3. I feel like they should be +7 here. So I think you bet the Bears here.
Interesting. What else you got?
And then for my Toby triple lock of the week.
The triple Toby lock of the week.
I have the 49ers +3 against the Cowboys. I'm going 49ers here. I think the Cowboys are starting to become a very public team with Dak Prescott, and the way you make money in this business is to bet against the public. I like the Niners here, +3 at home.
Yeah, I mean, if Dez isn't playing, that's obviously going to play a huge role. That's interesting. I haven't really been paying much attention to the 49ers just because I don't think they're that great, but I think that's an interesting one. I think they could definitely steal one from Dallas. But hey, who am I to second guess Sass with his triple Toby lock of the week? He's been doing so well, so I should just be running and putting money on it right now.
Yeah, we're gonna put 8 Tobies on that game
Whoa,
this week.
Whoa, 8 Tobies? Whoa! You're getting a little cocky here, I think.
Oh yeah, we're letting him roll.
Wow, he's interested in making big money, folks. He wants to be swimming in Tobies.
It's the exchange rate on Tobies.
Oh, I am.
Wow. Well, I think that's it.
Brings us to our last segment here.
Yeah, Sass, what you drinking?
I will be drinking at whatever I can find at the Newark airport this weekend because I will be making my way down to Virginia.
Oh wow, this weekend's the big move? Or are you just
This weekend's the big move down to Virginia for a couple of weeks. So
nice.
Whatever the Newark airport has is what I'll be drinking on Sunday.
Interesting.
Sounds like a great drinking spot.
I'll be also visiting Newark Airport next Tuesday. So there you go. Fun fact of the day.
I will not be there. Never want to visit Newark Airport.
Yeah, not by choice. I'm not doing it by choice, but I will be drinking finally an Allagash beer, Allagash Avance. I had to go down
good choice.
I had to go down to the deep stash, pluck that one, start weeding some of those out, and this year's batch of Avance will be getting released soon. So I said, why not just get rid of the one I got now? So that is what I will be drinking. Tanner, what will you be drinking?
I think I'll be going with an old reliable, some Maine Beer Co. lunch.
Wow.
Can't go wrong.
No.
Another great choice.
Can't go wrong with some lunch. We're pretty spoiled up here being able to drink all these great beers. So
we get some good beer down in Virginia, though. We got I think Devil's Backbone down there. I think is one. There's some decent beer down there.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Virginia beer scene's a little bit better than what I've found here right next to New York City. There's not a whole lot I like here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck down in Virginia, Sass, and we'll be doing the podcast next week from Maine and Virginia. So, Josh, the world traveler.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for a new logo on the video version.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the podcast this week, you may see a new logo, not just the Star Wars Galaxy Far Far Away thing. Tanner was kind enough to make one for us. So yeah, we should be on there for this week. So all right, Sass, till next week.
Till
good
next
luck.
time.
Later.
See ya.